Hi everyone, my name is Maria Toka. I'm a freelance graphic designer and this is another episode of Design with me, where I'm going to design something completely new for me, a packaging for a cookie brand. Yeah, I don't think I designed anything like that before, maybe at uni, so that was a long time ago, but today the day has come. I was thinking between skincare brand or something food related, and I thought food is essential, you can't live without it. Just gonna be more fun. I just want more creative freedom. Maybe next time skincare, I don't know. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to go to a supermarket and to find something ugly, something that desperately needs a redesign. Well, I will try not to hate anyone's design, but sometimes you can't control yourself. When you see something not nice, I'll do my best. Okay, so I'm gonna take you there with me. Yeah, we can put some B-roll while I'm walking down the aisle, searching for a perfect cookie brand to redesign. It was a little bit challenging, to be honest, because I was specifically searching for a cardboard box. Apparently, nowadays, it's a luxury. Everyone just packs their cookies or sweets or whatever that is into plastic, which is a bit sad, because it almost never looks nice, but it's cheap and we can't do anything about it other than not buying it. But that's a topic for another conversation. Okay, I think I finally found the best box to redesign. I even asked you guys on my Instagram story if you remember, because I was choosing between two, and most people voted for that blue one, myself included. And here it is, just in a second. Magic! And this is what I'm going to redesign today, because as you can see, it's not great. Let's just start there. Some people on my stories didn't agree with me. It may be subjective, but more than 80% votes in the poll that it needs a redesign. It says something, doesn't it? The biggest problem here, what I see, that it's very, very messy, disorganized. It has lots of elements from different styles that don't really match with each other. Too many colors, too much of everything. I know that maximalism is on trend, but this is not a great example, to be honest. What we see here, we see some very simple, basic clip art style raspberries. We see a variety of different fonts that don't necessarily match with each other, like each of them is trying to be the main, is trying to be decorative and to compete for the attention. I don't think they should compete. They should work together as a team, which would create a more coherent look. Also, how do you like this letter P bumping into L? Do you think it was like a design decision or coincidence? Let me know your assumptions. Yeah, basically raspberries. We're not in 2005. There are a lot more resources now to find something nicer in terms of illustrations and clip art. This is the simplest, the most basic that you can imagine. Probably when Corel Draw was invented, those raspberries were invented. Okay. Next thing, the amount of colors. You see how colorful it is. Gradient at the background. Like, I don't know, I'm already overwhelmed. Like, okay, hear me out. There's nothing wrong in maximalism, in using many colors, variety of fonts and styles and everything, but they all need to work with each other. You need to make it coherent. Minimalism was on trend for such a long time for a reason, because it's easier to achieve consistent look. When you clean up your flat, it already looks better, even if design is very boring. The same goes with graphic design. So yeah, what else can I say about it? I will try to make it playful and colorful as well, but first of all, I would like to make it a bit more modern, not like from 2005. I would choose one dominant color, which would be bright. I don't have anything against bright colors, but here, if you squint your eye, or if you look at it from afar, you don't really see anything bright. You see grayish, brownish mix, which is not clean and vibrant color. It's just a mess of everything. So yeah, I would fix that. Just the style of it, I would like something a bit more trendy and attention grabbing, but at the same time, I'll try to keep it playful, maybe chaotic layout in a way. And yeah, let's see what I can come up with. Another challenge would be to include this particular thing, this traffic light scheme or whatever it's called. It's necessary in the UK. I think brands are obliged by the law to include that. It's an information about how many calories, how much fat is in one serving size, saturated fat, sugars and salt. And by color, you're supposed to see straight away if it contains too much sugar, which means red light. So it's easy to remember, like red light, it's better to avoid it, or at least you're aware of what you're eating. I think it's a really good law, but it makes it more challenging for graphic designers to make it look consistent. Sometimes it doesn't go with the branding. So we need to take that into account. And in terms of the logo, I will allow myself not to stick with the original logo. Please forgive me for that. Yeah, and all the rest of the information I'm going to include. And the first thing I'm going to start with is to measure the dimensions. Yes, this is the square. So I just need 2 dimensions. And where is my ruler? Just a second. Found one. It's not exactly a ruler. I don't know what's it called. We can go with that. And it works perfectly because it's exactly 18 centimeters. I don't know if you're interested in inches, but you can see the size compared to me. Not really big. And it's 56 millimeters this side and this side, which means 180 and 56 millimeters. And this is the document size that I'm going to create. So the first thing I'm going to do before I start designing, I'm going to create a dyeline, which is like a template that outlines the exact layout of the packaging. And instead of doing it manually in Adobe Illustrator and spending another hour or probably 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm going to use a really helpful tool which is called Pacdora. You probably heard about Pacdora from other designers, especially the ones who specializes in packaging and branding. It's a 3D mockup platform with lots of different types of mockups, and the best thing about it is that there's a 3D version of each mockup and you can customize it the way you want. Because usually the problem with static images mockups is that you can't really change the dimensions to make it the exact measurements that you need, but here it's completely different. And today I'm fortunate enough to have Pacdora as a sponsor of this video. Thanks so much. But seriously guys, if you're really into packaging design, it's gonna be your best friend. You definitely want to save hours of your time, because when you know how important mockups are, it doesn't matter how beautiful your design is, if you don't present it in a nice way, it just devalues everything that you've worked on. So as you can see, they have a huge library of the products, and I'm going to choose a cardboard box, something at the most similar to this. I guess it's going to be square box mockup, but as you can see, we can customize it. Maybe cosmetic box. I need to check what's the difference. Cosmetic is a little bit more complicated. So yeah, I'm going to go with square box mockup. And custom size, it even shows you which measurement is which, so it's easy to know what numbers to enter. And in my case, it's going to be 56 and the height. I hope I got it right. Let's see exactly what I need. So yeah, what I was talking about, the die line, the exact layout of your packaging. You can just download it right here. Download die line in AI or PDF format. I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator. I'm opening it, and you see how easy that is. Instead of drawing all of this yourself, that would be so exhausting. It shows you the precise layout with the bleed. It takes into account the crease, shows you where to trim things, the bleed, design area, model. You can even choose the material. By the way, I didn't show you. Here it's white cardboard, but in other packagings you can choose a different type of paper, so it's really convenient. All this information is actually going to be helpful if you're really going to send it for print, and you don't need to worry about it. That's all taken care of. And now I'm going to start with designing a draft, which is why at first I'm most comfortable with Photoshop, where I'm gonna start developing my idea, and then I will probably finish it in Adobe Illustrator, because it's more professional to do stuff like that in Adobe Illustrator. So let's head over to Photoshop. As always, we're gonna start with the mood board. I've already assembled some reference images that I found found on Pinterest, just to set the direction. You know, they're all kind of different, but still have something in common. As you can see, I tried to stick with that playful and fun and kind of messy vibe. I don't want to make it too childish, so it's not too colorful. Also, you could probably notice some vintage vibe in it, especially in stuff like limoncello here or drab. The font is pretty old-fashioned, more sweet and salty. I really like the idea of very basic hand-drawn illustrations like here, combined with hand-drawn fonts or maybe vintage fonts or something like very playful, like this cherry bomb. I think it looks adorable. Stuff like that. I'm not particularly sure what kind of fonts I'm going to look for. For the main title, probably going to be something decorative and playful. And the color scheme, I'm not entirely sure because the original packaging is blue, but I don't want to use the gradient. Yeah, I think something flat like this AO Foods, even though it doesn't have photography on it, doesn't have many colors, only 2, but it looks so colorful, so bright, so eye-catching. And that's kind of the effect that I would like to achieve. And it looks quite vintage. I think it is vintage, to be honest. This Gulp packaging is a lot more modern, but at the same time, there is something vintage in it, and I think this is that kind of mix that I'm looking for. So I guess we can start. And I've created a new document of 180 to 56 millimeters. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to add all the information. And then the longest thing for me and the most challenging would be to find the right font or the main title. I think once I find it, everything else will come into place. Yeah, and also the color combination. It might be challenging because I don't know exactly what colors I'm going to use. Like, it has to be vibrant, not something that you've already seen like 1,000 times. You always want to be original, even though sometimes it's impossible. Most of the times it's impossible, but yeah, we'll see if I can do it. Yeah, you will probably see the speeded up process of me finding the right font and the right composition, because that took me a while, not gonna lie. I tried different options, different variations, and what I've noticed that original packaging has pretty much the same design on 3 different sides, except some details like a barcode, this traffic light system, but other than that, it's the exact same design, and I think it's just so boring. I looked at other packagings on Pinterest and just in shops I've been paying attention, and it looks a lot more interesting when one side is at least a little bit different from the other one and has a different concept. Ideally, it should be like a continuation of the first side. They need to match with each other. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. At first, I repeated the same design on 3 sides, but then I quickly realized that it's way too boring. But at the same time, I realized that there is a logic behind it. Like, if you look at that packaging from only one side in the supermarket, and if that happened to be the main side, that's great. But if it's a continuation of it and the main logo is covered, the main title is covered, because it might happen to lie not with the right side towards the viewer, it may not be recognizable then. So it makes sense to repeat the title many times on each side. But I decided to repeat it in a different way once I found the right font that I was completely happy with for Jaffa Cakes. And yeah, this is the font that is a lot more vintage, but modern kind of vintage, if you know what I mean. I decided to make it bigger and more eye-catching, more contrasting for the main side, and for the other one to use the same name but an outlined version, because all the other graphics around, I realized that I want to make in a style of a flat illustration, line art kind of thing. Very simple, in a way primitive illustration, which is really on trend now. And raspberries I'm going to show in a similar way. I think just the shape of them, the outlines are going to be a lot more recognizable than this shape, which from afar just looks like some unknown bright pink shape, but what exactly that is not really clear. In terms of typography, I'm going to concentrate on the main title, Jaffa Cakes, and everything else is not going to be decorative. I'm just going to use Arial Narrow, and I even stretched it for the logo or the name of the brand, which makes it easier to read. First of all, but also it's not competing with the main title. I think now they are matching each other a lot more. And also I was not sure if I want to add photography here, because I can definitely see the benefit of it. Like if you see the actual product, what it looks like, its actual color, texture, like nothing can express it better than photography. Illustrations are not as precise as you can imagine, but at the same time I didn't want it to compete with the overall hand-drawn aesthetic, so I tried to use different individual isolated PNG Jaffa cakes to see if they would match in combination with the line art. And at first it was a bit too overwhelming, but then I managed to find a way how to incorporate it. I just reduced the amount of these Jaffa cakes to only 2, and I think this is enough just to show what it would look like. When it comes to the boring side of the packaging with the text, I decided to split it into 2 parts and to place it on 2 different sides, because apparently we've got lots of space there. There is no real need to repeat the same design 3 times and then just to show all the information on one side which is left. We could just spread it to 2 sides and just to make it a little bit nicer. And at the end I realized that I also need to add more hand-drawn elements just to tie everything together a little bit better, to make it more coherent and consistent. So the overall aesthetic will be very DIY and hand-drawn, which is really trendy right now. At the same time, it looks a little bit vintage. Another idea that I came up with regarding the main title is to add this very abstract outline, which I just drew myself with the mouse, and I didn't even care how uneven and rough it is, because that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to look very messy and rough, so I made the main title look kind of like a sticker with this outline. None of the other outlines which are closer to the letters worked for it, so yeah, that's the only thing that seemed to work. And yeah, I spent, I don't know, probably more than 2 or 3 hours on that. Now I'm finally happy with this design. Yeah, this is still a draft, and now I'm gonna transfer all of that to Adobe Illustrator. I just realized, guys, I basically was redoing the whole thing here in Illustrator, except graphics, but all the text I had to recreate again. So yeah, the lesson from this is just do everything in Illustrator, everything you can. Maybe some individual graphics that you need Photoshop for, okay, do them in Photoshop, but everything else, do it straight in Illustrator. It's much faster. And now when everything is grouped together as one thing, I just need to place it on this die line to prepare for print and for what else? And for putting it on a mock-up, of course. How could I forget? Okay, something like that. Yeah, I think this is correct. Okay, I'm gonna use it for print. And now we're going back to Pacdora, and here I can upload my design just with drag and drop. Yep, something like that, but now I need to align it. Okay, it's okay that the entire sheet is going beyond the die line. Don't worry about it. I just need to make sure it's covering everything. Okay, this is inside. And the cool thing is that you can see it in 3D here on the right side. But also inside, I need to decide what color I'm gonna use. I would like, I don't know, maybe peach pink, why not? Or yellow. I think pink is gonna be cool. And yeah, that peach tone, I really like that. Saving. And here it is. This is what it looks like on a mock-up. Yeah, the cool thing about it, what I wanted to show you, is you can open it and see it in a flat way. You can, by the way, you can upload each individual side as a separate file if that's easier for you to design one side then the other side. You can do this, and it can be a PNG file with transparent background, and you can choose the background color here in Pacdora, so you don't need to do it yourself. So that's a quick life hack, and let's see how it closes. That's so magical. Okay, one more time. Now it's closed and it's open. I mean, how cool is that? And another cool thing about this platform is we can go to 3D design. It opens a separate window, and here you can see it in a 3D format again, but on a surface. There is a big variety of pre-made scenes that you can choose from. Let's try, like this for example. It's not easy to photograph that. I don't know how to photograph that. That's possible. Let's see what else. You can see both of them at the same time from different angles. That could be cool. Something like this. I mean, there's a lot to choose from, and that's especially cool if you're doing a series of like 3 different packagings of the same product but different flavors, for example, and they are slightly different from each other. But even with the same packaging, when you show how it looks in multiple boxes, I think it looks a lot more impressive than just one box. So you can choose for the different views from top, from the bottom. There's also some selection of advanced themes with different objects around. You can see some cool stuff for skincare, for food, for fragrances. Yeah, let's try something advanced, or this. I don't know, I want to try everything. Okay, let's try to render some of them. Oh, one more thing I wanted to try with a cup of tea. I think that would be cool, because yeah, you eat cookies and you drink tea, right? That would make more sense. Like this, or like that. Okay, let me choose the right angle. Let's say something like this. Super render. Okay. Oh, it's still exporting. It's the different models, elements. You can add any elements you want. Plants, foods, fruit, raspberry. Raspberry is exactly what I need. That's so cool, guys. I'm gonna spend more time than I intended here, but it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's not just a tedious job that I have to do. I don't have to, but I want to try all of them. Oh, I see where they are. So you can choose the color of your background, and it can be gradient if you prefer. Lighting as well, you can choose, and more. And here we also see AI background generator. This is my first render for Jaffa cakes. Okay, I would work a bit more on the table surface, but I already like this scene. And AI background generator. This sounds like something I would explore. And here there is a separate section for it, background, AI background. And at first you can choose any gradient you want, or it can be a solid color. And I like to make it radial, like this, and radial. Yes, something like this. This is the basics. Apart from some beautiful mockups in a real environment, I think it's also good to show it in a clean environment with just a simple gradient or backgrounds like that. So I'm gonna use this one, and let's check out this AI section. I'm really curious about that. So they have monochrome, minimalism, indoor, outdoor, display, nature. Oh my god, everything. Texture, I love the clouds, surfaces, tabletop. Oh my god, what should I choose? Well, let's say it should be a display, like this for example. Generate, as if it's in a supermarket. I'm not gonna bring it to a supermarket today. Or maybe I will, I don't know. Okay, it's gonna look like that. So you need to make sure that your packaging is vibrant. You can generate more. So yeah, it just creates a very similar backgrounds, and I really like this one, to be honest. Export. The only thing that I will correct here is the text on this shelf. In Photoshop I will write a real word, because now it's kind of too obvious that it's AI. It would look more like it's a real photo from supermarket. So export. Yep, here's what it looks like. Pretty much the same. So I'm gonna just play around with this platform even more and create more cool renders, maybe some abstract backgrounds, and we'll show you the result in just a second. So yeah, here's the final result, final product. Thanks again Pacdora for sponsoring this video. Your platform has been incredibly helpful, and yeah, I definitely had fun designing all of it. So yeah, definitely don't forget to check out their platform in the description down below. I will leave the link. And if you thought that I'm gonna stop on that, no, I decided to go further and to print it out. And just look at this. It's almost A3 format, which is perfect. of course, I couldn't miss that opportunity to turn my design into something physical and tangible. Of course, I'm gonna create a real packaging. The paper is a bit thin, to be honest, but it's thicker than normal printing paper, so I hope it won't be too bad, but at least it'll be easy to fold it. So just watch me cut it and turn it into a box. I guess a little ASMR moment is coming up. And here it is, the new packaging for Jaffa cakes. I don't know guys, it's so satisfying to finally see something in physical world, because everything's online now, you know. I don't remember the last time I actually printed something. It's just such a nice feeling, honestly. I don't know if that sounds too arrogant or not, but I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I also have the original one. Let me know which, I think I'm going to compare it that way, which one you prefer. I still try to keep it maximalist, at least not minimalist, and to fill up the space, not to make it too empty and too simple, but I hope it's a little bit more unified and coherent, and it's just nicer to look at. I really didn't pick the right background for this one, I'm sorry. Let's show it that way or that way. So yeah, guys, I highly recommend you to print something and to see what it actually looks like. Not only is this satisfying, but it's also a really good way to see all the extra flaws, and maybe there is a problem with colors and what it would actually look like in a real environment. Ideally would be to take that to a supermarket and to place it on a shelf just to look how it would stand out against other products, or it wouldn't stand out, just to compare. It can be really helpful if you enjoyed it as much as I did. This was a bit challenging, to be honest. It's not like designing something flat like a poster, because you always need to imagine what it would look like in 3D, because you can't just design one side in isolation and then design another one and then another one. You need to constantly be checking if they're matching with each other, how it all works together. So it's a completely different approach. Luckily, Pacdora helps with that a lot, because you can easily upload your design there and just see what it looks like. And it may turn out that it's not as nice as you imagined it when you were designing in Photoshop or Illustrator. So yeah, this is really helpful. And also you need to think about what it would look like from afar, because when we buy cookies, we don't look at each individual packaging like a piece of art in a museum and appreciate all the little detail on it. No, we look at it from afar on the shelf. First of all, it needs to stand out among other brands surrounding it. And secondly, it just has to look nice already from afar, which is why it's so popular to use like really thick, bold fonts for food packaging. Yeah, now I understand. Thin fonts wouldn't be noticeable at all. Maybe it's an exception on the contrast with bold fonts. I don't know, but that's much harder to do. Anyways, I enjoyed it a lot when I was designing, and now I'm really tempted to do more packaging redesigns, or maybe even like a full brand redesign in the food industry. I think there's enough of creative freedom in that. So yeah, let me know guys what you think, and if you have any ideas of what I should design or redesign next time, I would be happy to read your suggestions down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a favor, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It will be really helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!